what everybody thinks, what everybody says is real. Today I take a step into a time and space of peace and possibility. And here I'm gonna stay until I find my place, my true divinity. Higher consciousness. Let's go higher, higher in our consciousness. Let's go higher, higher consciousness. Let's go higher, come on, in our consciousness. Let's go higher. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step and one idea. I'm moving on, not knowing what is coming next. I'm getting close, I'm getting near to a part of me that touches everything, uniting all reality. I'm the middle between what earth and heaven brings. I am the I am the we.
Peace and blessings, beloved family, and thank you all once again for joining us here this evening on Occult Science Radio. I am Curtis Davis, a.k.a. the Illuminated One, and tonight we have with us a very dear sister who has been a long-time viewer of our network, Ton, and she's also written a very groundbreaking book on healing autism in children. And I first learned of this sister and her spirituality, and especially her book. I had to bring this sister to Occult Science Radio. I had to add her to the family. So I'm talking about Sister Angela Williamson. And in my conversations with this sister, she has a lot to share because, unfortunately, many children today are being diagnosed or being born autistic, okay? And so now this sister is not only going to share information with us concerning autism, but also some information about vaccines. So this is going to be a very informative evening. So I'm going to start off by thanking our sponsors, Ton, the Occult Network. That's www.theoccultnetwork.com. We offer 2 memberships, a free membership as well as a premium membership. Ton Premium, where you will find some of the most in-depth esoteric content anywhere on the net, and you definitely are not going to find it in mainstream media. You could also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter under the Occult Network. And if you really want to be plugged into what's going on with Occult Science Radio as well as the Occult Network, you can find me on Facebook, Curtis Illuminated One Davis. So please come by, become a friend of mine. I love meeting new people. And once you become a friend of mine on Facebook, then you will be plugged in to what's going on Occult Science Radio as well as the Occult Network. And don't forget to stop by our stores on the Occult Network website. Starting tomorrow, we will have much of our content available for digital download. Many people have been requesting it. So yes, we will have much of our content available for digital download. So, once again, please call in with your questions at 646-649-1987. That's 646-649-1987. And if you have a question or a comment for Sister Angela, then don't forget to press number 1 so we can get you on the switchboard and take your wonderful questions and comments. And we also want to thank everyone for your responses to the great creations of our musical director, the Mixtress of the Matrix, Monica Chambers. Believe me, I told y'all she had skills. And once again, you're going to hear her creations at the end of the show. So now, having said all of that, it's time to bring our new family member, our beloved sister, Angela Williamson, to the forefront. Sister Angela, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Doing well, and I can't wait to hear your information and that this great book that you've written. I mean, once I started following you and your work, I said, I have to bring this sister to the forefront, because she has so much to share. But before we get into the good stuff, beloved, just give us a brief background, on yourself and what led you to write such a great book, and a little bit about your spiritual path.
Okay. Basically, I have a degree in psychology. When I was going to school, I was married at the time, and I had a daughter. And my daughter, she was developing normally. She was reaching all of her milestones. Around the age of 15 months, all of a sudden she became ill. She had a rash, covered her whole entire body, and then she had a very high fever. During that time, I had a book, and at that time, I believe it probably could have been roseola or it could have been measles. And I was like, how can this be measles when my daughter had an MMR? I mean, this happened within a week after when my daughter had an MMR. She got very, very ill. But at that time, I didn't know what was going on. I went to the doctor, and the doctor, he looked at me. He was like, okay, it could be or it could not be. And he said it couldn't be measles because she's immune to measles because she has the vaccination. During my study, I started studying more about autism because the certain type of symptoms she was starting to present during that time was along those who have autism. In the background field of psychology, they really don't, talk about the vaccines as being the cause or, food allergies or anything else. What they try to do is, try to get some type of educational treatment. Okay, so when I first came across an article, I believe I must have got it from the Autism Society, it was talking about food allergies and autism. And I was like, this is unbelievable. How can food cause autism, or how can it contribute to autism? And, once I let down the resistance, and I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and read the book. But before I read the book, I went back to my pediatrician, and I was telling him, my daughter, she stopped talking. She stopped responding. She stopped looking at us. She didn't want to really be touched. He looked at me, and he told me that it was all in my head, and he said, she just, a little, give her time, she would turn around. So getting back to when I looked at the article, when I was reading it, I kept saying, wait a minute. My daughter do the same thing in these articles, the high and drunk behaviors, the mood swings, the meltdown, the constipation. My daughter really never had diarrhea, but she's had severe constipation. She wouldn't sleep at night. She'll have a Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde. She could be angry one minute, then happy the next minute. And so I start looking more into it, and which actually led me to becoming more spiritual. I start looking at spiritual methods as well as alternative methods to help me and to help heal my daughter. And basically, when I start doing more and more research with alternative medicine and with spirituality, I start, I'm like, oh, my God, everything that I learned in school, some of it is true, but then some of it's not true. And unfortunately, when parents are